Okay, real life romance, Jay and Noelle. Take one. Hi. Okay, so thank you for sharing your story in real life romance, and I appreciate it so much, but we just want to get to know you guys a little bit better. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions. The first one is, how did you guys meet?
We met in drama class.
High school?
High school, performing arts class. It was just a throwaway class. I had a free period and that's the class I chose.
Yeah, I think the craziest thing is that we went to a really small school and somehow we had never met each other before. I think I heard his name and somewhat recognized it, but I didn't know him, which is so weird. I think when you grow up in a small town, you know everyone and you recognize the name. So to me, I was just like, who is this like non-contaminated nice boy?
What grade were you guys in? Are you in the same grade?
Junior?
Senior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Senior.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you guys met, was you were a junior and he was a senior.
Mm-hmm. And I guess my twin sister knew Jay pretty well. I think she helped you pass some class or something.
Nicole helped me pass a couple classes in high
Yeah.
school.
Your twin sister, you
Yeah.
said. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you went all through high school together but hadn't met each other until that
Yeah.
class? How many
And
students
we
were at
had
the school?
like all of the same closest friends. Like
Yeah.
a boy who lived, we lived on a small street, just 3 houses. A boy who lived on my street, who we were like family with, he played baseball with forever. I think we were at the same like baseball party one time, like a campfire, like camp out,
Interesting.
bonfire. Yeah.
Okay, so what did you think when you first saw her?
I just thought she was a hot cheerleader.
a hot cheerleader?
And so, not a believer at the time. I
Yeah.
just thought she was out of my league, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got to know her a little better in class.
I'm singing a Top Gun song. Is that Top Gun? She's out of my league. Yeah. And I just like Jay mostly because I just felt like, I don't know, he was like different, kind of set apart from some of the other guys. And I was thinking like I literally remember thinking like, oh, he's so pure and nice in my mind. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then when did you guys actually first go on a date?
We kind of went on a group date, fun thing first. We kind of started liking each other. We all went bowling. There was probably 20 to 30 of us that went out.
Back when you would pack like too many people in the
We
car.
packed too many people in the car, and then that's kind of when we figured out we liked each other.
When you were bowling?
Yeah.
So it wasn't an official, hey, I'm gonna take you out. It was just you were all together at a group thing and you like
I think so.
just
yeah.
made sure you were on the same bowling team.
Yeah, Jay always says that I said, drop me off last, and that it was like his thing, like, this is gonna work out pretty good here.
You
But
did,
I had,
you did say drop me off last.
but I had my twin sister with me, so that wasn't really an invitation for anything. But then he's like, Nicole totally hooked me up because she jumped out of the car right away.
Okay.
So that kind of worked.
That's
You owe her.
So when did you say, I want to take you out or to start dating? How did that come about?
I think it was about a month later. A month later, we kind of talked back and forth, and then a month later we decided to go out on a date.
Yeah, I think Nicole got in a car accident, and I needed a ride because like all the cars left for the accident, my family left, and so I was like, oh, I could call. You know, I was like thinking I could call right away. And by that time, I think he was like so friendly and nice that I was like, my neighbor actually said, oh, you should call Jason Opa. So we went to the accident, and kind of after that, it was more like the phone calls. It was more like a one-on-one thing.
Started talking and
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was our junior year in the fall, and so we dated all the way through our junior year, and then he graduated and he went away for school, but not far, like 2 hours. And then my senior year, we dated all the way through, and then he would drive home all the time. He was so nice. I think that was like almost like my favorite time in our relationship because he would drive all the way down like 2 hours and bring me coffee, hang out for 10 minutes, and drive back up to school. I would drive up to try to watch basketball games and stuff. So it was a fun season.
That's fun. Okay, so then you graduate from high school and you're away at school or you came back home?
I was away 1 year, and then I came back.
So you
She
came back
graduated,
right
and
when I
came
graduated,
back.
yeah. And then I was going away, but like at the very end of high school marked like the beginning of like a heart change and being discipled. I started attending our church and getting discipled, so.
And really surrendered to Christ.
True, yeah, like I began an actual walk with the Lord. So that's when I was going away for a year at least of school, and he was moving back, but I was coming home every weekend because I wasn't far either. So, and then he would just come with me. I think I had like shared things, like in my either non-believer or baby believer version, I would like share things with him in high school, and he would try to understand like my perspective, because he was always a super nice boyfriend. It's like in my we have like non-believer version of purity, meaning like we didn't have sex. Not purity like I want my kids to have.
Yeah.
But it was, I just remember thinking he was so nice because he would honor me in that, and he knew, I would ask you, like, why, I'm like, why didn't you ever, like, push anything? Because I think I would have been, like, easier going. And you always, what do you say?
I knew we would broke up.
He's like, you would have broken up with me, so it wasn't worth it. So I always thought he was so nice, just,
Because he honored that.
yeah, he liked me enough to allow that
Yeah.
to be something
Well,
to
and
draw
it's
the
a
line.
great character quality.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Okay, so you came to Christ. He's not a believer.
Mhm.
So then what starts happening?
So,
She started wanting to go to church.
Mhm.
I'm right back here. She's in Castro Valley.
mhm.
I'm tagging along. I'm going to college group. I'm going to church. And
What are you thinking about this?
I'm thinking it's nice. It's good to go, but it's really not my thing. And she's wanting to get more and more involved. And
Mhm.
basically at that time I was going just to stay with her because I knew that she really wanted to go. So
Mhm.
that's the only reason I was going. Just
But
to
like
stay
for
with her.
more than a year, I was totally okay with that. Like I had no conviction. I was like happy he was going. I was happy I was going and growing. And then it was like somewhere into like the second year of actually walking with the Lord. So by now I'm like out of high school for 2 years that I started feeling convicted about it. Like, oh my gosh, we really shouldn't be together. You know, I was like, I'm totally missionary dating. I didn't try to, like I kind of brought him along with me, but I at that point I knew it was something that I shouldn't do, but it was super hard to break. I kept trying to break up with him, and then like we'd say goodbye, and then I would just hug him, and we'd forget everything. So it was such a struggle.
Were you kind of confused by all of that? Like,
Yeah, but
trying to figure it out?
I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So basically I was just trying to hang on to her. Whatever I needed to do, I was
Right.
gonna do to hang on.
Yeah.
And super nice. So I had a hard time too. He was like my favorite part of my life, and
Yeah.
so involved. At that point we were together almost 4 years, I think.
Yeah,
So
close.
already thinking plans for the future.
Mhm.
I had my softball catching partner. Like it's
Yeah.
just like there's gonna be a major void without him. But I wanted to honor the Lord. So I think the breakup was super hard. And like trying to figure out how to have space. But I thought he was gonna go away. The hardest part was that he never left.
Yeah.
So
So
it
you
was-
continued coming to church,
Yeah.
going to college group, and all of that.
Mhm.
Okay, and so then what happened?
I remember I took like 6 months off. I didn't come to church. I missed college group a bunch. I just kind of had to be away.
Mhm.
And I think I realized it was stupid to go to church for a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started. And I was also going through a time in my life where
Mhm.
whatever I took worth in was gone at that point. I mean, I was living at home. I had a dead-end job. Nothing I ever had worth in left. And
Mhm. I think Dale was kind of attempting to disciple you
Your
all
college-
along.
Dale was
The
there.
college
Yeah, college group leader.
Yeah.
So you were kind of being poured into and taught truth,
Mhm.
but not as involved.
I wasn't involved.
But somewhere in there, you got saved. And I didn't know necessarily that he got saved. I was just saw a difference, but was trying to have an appropriate boundary, so I didn't see too much. But so then more time passed, almost a year of the breakup, and then
And you're dying because you miss
Yeah,
him, right?
yeah.
You miss him. It's not like, okay, we're done. I'm gonna go do something else, and you're done.
oh yeah, total
Okay.
void.
Yeah.
And anytime like things would come up that were hard, any struggles, he would always be like my go-to person. So when I like loved him in high school and on, I like completely loved him. Like there was no guarding the heart.
Right.
I even remember having some girl group studies when they did like where you paste the heart together
Yeah.
and then you try to rip it apart and it's all broken, and like I'm the broken heart,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the pieces that are left over there
Yeah.
because I loved him too much, but I didn't know better.
Right.
Sometimes I would even regret, like, man, I wish I knew more, but
Yeah.
to be humble enough to know, like, the Lord allowed me to have that much of my life without knowledge and wisdom,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that I have to,
Yeah. Mhm.
just humbly accept that my choices, good or bad, would affect me. So it was sad.
So at some point you're thinking that part of my life's done, and I'm gonna just pursue the Lord, and then what? And then he came to Christ, and you came to Christ just at, where were you? At youth group?
No, I was
college
actually at
group?
home.
At home?
It was a time I was starting to get back into it, and Dale was discipling in our college group teacher, and I just remember thinking, I've never really bowed my knee to Christ. I mean, I was studying the Bible at the time, and that's when I learned that Christ was going to be the only thing that was going to be my rock in my life,
Wow.
my identity, and that's when I accepted
So
Christ.
just by yourself.
Just by myself.
I love that.
So then he was really never going anywhere.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
there.
Yeah. So then he starts growing, and
Uh-huh.
then what are you guys thinking? Like,
I thought we were just done. I remember at one point, it was like the first time, it was after months and months that we were never even alone together. So when we broke up, it wasn't like we'd still chit chat. We would be friendly in group settings, but it was like too weird to be like casual because we were so close.
We didn't seek each other out to talk.
Yeah, but I remember one time it was like the first time we ended up being alone in a space together, and we had like an opportunity to talk. And I remember thinking, I want to ask him all about when he got saved. I knew he did, but I never got to talk much. And I think that was like one of my like biggest like sacrificial points, because it was like, no, I can't, you know, like I could right now, and we could probably rekindle everything. So that was like a heartbreaker. And not too much longer after that is when what felt like out of the blue, Dale, who was discipling Jay, he got a hold of me and told me like, hey, you should take another look at Jay. You know, he's not the same guy he used to be. He's a believer. You guys are moving in the same direction. And I know how much you guys enjoyed each other. And I kind of gave him a hard time, like, Dale, you're just like tempting me to disobey the Lord. And then he's like, I don't think you have to like equate it with you liking Jay as disobedience anymore. Did you know Dale's did?
I didn't at the time. I didn't know Dale's didn't.
You should take him to lunch or something.
Yeah.
Bold move.
Good job.
So he challenged me to spend like.
Text him right now, dude.
You did this, Dale. Pick up our kids from church. Those kids are part of your responsibility.
That's right.
So he told me, he like challenged me to like pray about it for a week. And during that time, I think I let the week keep going, because I was just like, it was already hard, the thought of it. What if you didn't like me anymore? Because I think you at that point were like done. It was the first time I knew. I think that chance that we had to maybe rekindle something and didn't. Also, there's a little backstory where Jay proposed to me out of the blue for no reason. That's surprising. Of course, I said no. It was like in that gap of us never talking, where it was like his last attempt. Because he never felt convicted that we should be together, but it was like, let's just be together. And at that same point, it would have felt disobedient.
Right. So, you just weren't at that place.
Yeah. But that was when he was like, it's done. And then it was not until Dale interfered.
So then what happened after you prayed about it for a while?
So then I kind of just didn't want to do anything. You know, sometimes you just felt well enough alone. And I was thinking like, that sounds so messy, you know. And I didn't want to, but then I would talk to friends, like godly friends who give us counsel. And I was telling her, she kind of knew the whole story, and I was telling her everything. And she's like, well, just pray that the Lord give you an opportunity. You know, you don't have to create an opportunity, but the Lord opens the door and gives you an opportunity to talk to him. And then, like, then there were not opportunities. I actually drove by and he was shooting hoops outside. He was shooting hoops outside of his house. He was, like, along the path I was going. And I just pulled over and I kind of told him, which shocked him. It was, like, my version of proposal out of the blue. But he was like, you know, like not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was more guarded.
Yeah.
As we went down this road, I
You
thought.
did not jump for joy like I expected.
No, I thought we were.
Yeah.
We were moving on.
Yeah. But then sometime after that.
So you leave, and now you're standing there with your basketball in your hand, going,
Just not sure what to think, what to expect, because
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, you were the love of my life, so. But I always figured we were done, and that was fine. That was the Lord's will in our life, and we moved on. So that.
But at some point, the Lord, our getting back together was kind of like a slow, gradual. Like we kind of learned how to have a relationship all over again, how to have, you know, boundaries.
It's a different relationship.
And we were also kind of guarded, I think, a little bit up until the engagement. Because I think at that point we knew, like, we need to have a healthy relationship. If the Lord does take it away again for some reason, we need to not be all broken.
We were both growing
getting
a lot
engaged
in
was
that
a
time.
relief.
We were both growing a lot in that time, and I think we
Yeah.
didn't want to hinder that.
Sure. All right, so how did he ask you to marry him?
He took me to Lake Tulloch, because we would always go water skiing together and go to lakes. So he took me to Lake Tulloch, like in the area where there's homes. Like to me, like back then I remember thinking like, this feels like the perfect place to live. So it was an empty lot. So we have to buy the house one day. So we're there building, and he proposed. And then I remember like he hugged, and then I like probably like a few minutes into it, I realized I never even saw the ring, so I'm like peeking over his shoulder.
I think that happens a
Which is
lot.
not good.
Yes.
I keep making hamburgers and not wearing my ring. Yeah.
You didn't say yes right away. That's what I was worried about.
That's scary.
The hug was like an
You didn't hug, you were hugging and crying, but
yeah.
I needed an audible.
Yeah. And we had a date.
Yeah.
We had a whole fun day planned, and he did it at like 9 in the morning because he was like, then we could just relax.
Yeah.
I was
So
quite
then we
nervous.
hugged. Yeah.
Oh,
Then we had a whole fun day up.
So then you're water skiing with a new ring on your finger? And you're like,
So actually I did water ski because I would put my gloves over it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I would, but we didn't water ski that day. We actually like went up all through the hills where we ended up getting married, like into that area.
Oh, yeah.
So that was fun because we ended up finding a place to get married up there eventually.
Okay, and then what would you say, what part, you've kind of shared a lot of it, but what part does faith play in your relationship now?
For me, it was finding my identity in Christ and learning that putting Christ first in my life will always make me love you more and love you the right way. I loved you in an idle way before. No, I love you the way that I should, that Christ loved the church.
Mine was kind of a play on that. I think I was so used to being loved in like the idle way that I had to like put myself into perspective where I didn't want him, like I properly not want him to do that. Yeah, where I would be happy to be loved properly, you know. Yeah. So I remember that when we got back together right away, I remember thinking like, oh man, I just got demoted.
Yeah, he loves Jesus more than me. Yeah,
So your world's not revolving over here anymore.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
but to find my
Nice
contentment in the
security
Lord.
there,
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
right? Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
And then the last question is, what is, if you have one, your song? You don't have to have one.
I can't remember our
I mean, we had
song.
like phases of our relationship. So we had like tacky high school songs.
I was born in a small town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't even remember. I'm sure it was like a Faith Hill to McGraw, small town.
I couldn't
Yeah.
remember.
Hair all around me.
That was our song in high school.
I don't know, older, like Hide 'em in the Heart CD.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
yeah, as parents, right?
Yeah.
So, well, that's good. Well,
Keep
thanks
your
so
tongue.
much.
Tongue will keep your tongue.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing your story,
You're welcome.
and thanks for letting me write it in real life romance. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are great.